one of those days or nights where I just woke up and I couldn't fall back asleep, and I was coming to a point of, as I was lying there deciding whether to get up or not, I was coming to a point during that, thinking about my intention with um, with life, and how I can find some peace of mind. It's a really simple concept, but I was thinking this, and I thought of all the bad habits I could indulge in and just kind of mindlessly go back to sleep, after indulging in bad habits. And then I stopped kind of considering bad habits, and I got up and I like went to the bathroom and I read while I was in the bathroom, just to kind of like occupy my mind with something, rather than like the free flowing nature of not doing anything and just kind of thinking everything and not really being able to grab the end of my mind and set it somewhere for a minute. I think books are really beautiful and really helpful. Same with writing. Um, and I'm talking about physically writing, not writing on a computer, typing, I should say, writing with a pen. Um, and, reading a physical book, not listening to a book. Um, there's something about the internet that really baffles my mind, and I think it's starting to baffle a lot of people, or at least more people are taking in consideration um, what the internet has done in a lot of aspects. Which I've said this a few times to people in just conversation, but it's hard to have a fixed point of view when everything is happening at once on the screen. And I think the real implication of what has been done so far through screens is really enabled people to it has enabled people to just indulge in habits and rituals where there's no conscious effort to really understand what you're doing or why you're doing it. There's more or less just the notion of striving for an end or a high to kind of occupy your mind at a time or for a time. Taking a hit. I don't give a shit, YouTube. Badass pipe I made. Anyway. Get some water. Drink your water. Even if it's hard and you want other things. Ooh, beautiful. Where was I? Anyway. There's there's real implications of technology and the screens and the internet that are being taken are are coming alive. I would like to say even more so before um, the internet really took a hold of the fabric of society. But I think what's coming alive is more or less the it's more or less the ability to just drown yourself in noise and ends and reasons that are not necessarily ends or reasons to everyone or everything. And there really comes this, well, what that brings forth um, is a very egotistical outlook on yourself and what is around you and yourself, um, what sort of mental higher standards you hold for yourself. Um, you almost become the convenience of it all on the screens, and I'm talking about the informational convenience, the convenience of ordering groceries to your door, the convenience of finding something out and it being inherently true to you or objectively true to you, but on a subjective level, the truth you're looking at or finding is completely bullshit to whole communities and countries. And that is also what the internet is doing, is it's dissolving cultures. It's dissolving the lines between cultures, and cultures are starting to blend together and new cultures are forming. But I think instead of really grasping onto the fact that a new culture is forming, a lot of people are so fixated on joining a previous set of cultures, whereas they can name it and know it to be true. Um, but the actual attempt of whatever it is that the individual is attempting has no depth. It is always in the lights or the darkness of considering something else before the actual present moment. And if you followed me that far, thank you. Um, but what I'm getting at is um, there exists a sort of an alive nature to the present moment. There isn't some fixated point of view where everything is inherently true in every situation. It's just not the case. Because our this moment right here that we're in, right, is it's reachable. It's here. It's it's something we can grasp. And something you cannot grasp in the present moment is the past in ways. And Sure, I can bring up memories and whatnot and contribute um, my past experiences. Um, but in each sort of moment on different days, you can bring up the same thing and it will take place and live in a different sort of understanding. You can bring up fast food in one conversation on one day, and the response or the non response you'll get is determined by factors that play a part in that sort of present moment of experience. I don't know if I did a good job explaining that, but what the internet does, and if you take that sort of perspective that I just built, where the present moment is alive and there are things beyond factual matters that come to play when you're experimenting within the present moment. Um, and I think what the internet does for that, or maybe even artificial intelligence, is is that the internet and artificial intelligence kind of implemented with the internet now. Because one perspective on artificial intelligence that you have to just understand is every time the internet, the technological advances kind of get operated on, or you're operating with an AI in some way, shape, or form has access to your screen. There's something my dad used to say that like all roads are connected. Like you could leave now on your road and end up in California and just drive there. And in the same way, with that way of thinking, AI has that sort of ability, but you also have that ability as well on the internet through the screen. Um, you can go anywhere on the internet, and that's the real dangerous game, is going places on the internet and figuring out things and finding out if they're true or not, or untrue or whatever. But there is um, there are formations within the internet when you access them that are competing for your fixation, your attentive, your intention, your attentive point of view, but your intention upon that point of view. And just like the car, in roads where you kind of just go where you go and you don't really go off the beaten path or whatever. You kind of just stick to the same routes and whatnot. But I'm just generalizing here, but that's how the internet's getting used. Is we're just going the same places, and that's how creativity is getting used. We're going the same places, and if we're going the same places, what else is nothing new is happening. And I'm not saying new is always good or right or better, but going places where you're sure to going places where you're sure to be agreed with, or you're sure to find comfort in, brings no sort of unexpected aspect, spontaneous aspect to your creative outlook on your life or your outlook in general. I think to go beyond concepts and language is a very hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to grasp in general. And usually when you're talking about this or trying to communicate this, it's through language like I am now. And there's a sort of even when people get explained something, there's always a skeptical perspective behind it, whether or not they express it or not. There's always the alternative. There's always the mystery. Even in the facts of science or religion or spirituality, there's always something else. And that sort of mysterious aspect of life is what I'm interested in. And I think at times it's hard to find your footing in that perspective, in the sort of belief, the non-belief of your experiences. The individual I'm kind of describing is the person who goes into events or situations and doesn't believe a thing other than experiencing it and reaching into their internal library to kind of give their 2 cents without dying on a hill for their belief, dying on a hill for their ego, dying on a hill for their, their materials or their money. And this is one thing with creativity and art, you could say, that has been lost, or kind of lost in the noise, lost in the hum or the buzz of everything. But it really sucks because a lot of people are so constricted to form, to their little way of life, to their little formation of thoughts and perspectives, and to challenge yourself, not to get challenged by others for egotistical reasons, but to challenge yourself on topics, on concepts of thought, on attempting something new with instruments or writing styles or books or conversations. That is where the juice is, the real shit. It is the ability to consciously have no beliefs and to consciously want to not understand or to know anything, but to experience something new or novel. And that is a hard thing to even come to within yourself without, you know, taking in consideration, a lot of other cultural or societal things that have been shoved into your face or things that have been competing for your attention, that where those things just have given you no time to just sit with yourself, to to just look at a painting for an hour or something, or to really focus in on a writing or a book that you're reading for an extended period of time. Ugh. It's just it really is a weird thing to just come to realizations with. And the people who you want to or you try talking to that don't have any concept of this level of abstract, it's not that it's a waste of time talking to those people, but if you're skilled if you're skilled in the cultural and societal things, conversations with those people are rather predictable. Just they're all the same with different masks on them, if you will. There's no sort of challenge within conversation or within the thought realm. There just is there just is this game that is known that gets played, and there's no real spontaneous acts within the game. I don't know if you hear that, but they're doing fucking trash or something, and it's confirmation to just end it here, end the live here, and whoever's watching this, future me, future you, you are very powerful. Whoever you are, you're very powerful. You can literally just wake up and do something and change your perspective. You can be anything you want to be. You can do all those things. You can work and create and do everything you really want. But it is your thoughts that hold you in frames of the world.